You think you know everything there is to know about air-cooled cars and motorcycles, don't you? Well, I can tell you, you don't. How can you find out more? Become a subscriber to the Audrain Museum Network. Hit the button, do it now, join us. Hello, and welcome to the Audrain Automobile Museum here in Newport, Rhode Island, and our latest exhibition, Air-Cooled. Keep it simple. This exhibition, which runs from March 22nd through July 13th, showcases something really interesting and exciting. It's actually what the Audrain does best. It takes things that you know and things that you've never heard of and combines them in a compelling manner. When we think about air-cooled, it's sort of simple, right? VW Beetles and Porsches, air-cooled. But this is a story that is so incredibly deep and so incredibly interesting on so many levels from so many ages. Like this dune buggy over my left shoulder, and a Franklin over my right shoulder, and a Corvair in front of me. What is this show all about? Well, we're going to give you the little highlights tonight, and then we'll come back to you with 6 great in-depth videos detailing some of the features and answer your questions about why they're in the show. We're really excited about this, and let's get started. When you think of air-cooled cars, most people think of small cars. And this corner of the gallery has 3 really interesting small cars. And in fact, the last time I was in this corner of the gallery in a preview video, it was with this man, Nick Waller, the president of the Audrain Automobile Museum, and we were here for the Magic of Monaco, and we had these great Formula Juniors. Now we sort of have car juniors.
We do have car juniors. These are junior sedans, junior saloon cars, junior little sports cars, but what a trio. Oh,
It's fantastic, and what is really amazing about this show, which we will see in the cars here, we'll see in the 9 motorcycles in the show as well, because we don't want to forget those, is the fact that they also offer designers and engineers such a wide compass in which to work. Very small cars are really difficult to design and engineer, to make them come out correctly. And these 3 cars really tell a great story of the varied uses of air-cooled cars, and some very practical and very basic, others not so much.
absolutely right. And put them in their locality. Europe, Japan, and small roads, small countries, and evolving economies too, because these were post-war, immediate post-war cars. When things were just growing, people wanted something small, something they could enjoy, and what a trio. The Moretti as well. The Moretti, I have to say, Donald, I know it's your car. I have fallen in love with it. I really have.
It's a fantastic piece, and it also really speaks, I mean, we love to talk about context here. And these cars are absolutely amazing and very clever, but they're cars that Americans don't know because these cars were not really suited to American driving.
No, I mean, frankly, I would love to drive across the country, perhaps in the Auto Bianchi, and it would be fun.
It would be a leisurely drive.
I think it would take a couple of months, but what a way to spend a couple of months. That'd be
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the other things, as I mentioned before, the contrasts that we love to show here at the Audrain. We have these very small cars that would not be successes in the US market, and yet it was a US mark, Franklin, that actually produced the first air-cooled motor car.
Which is huge, and it's part of the exhibit. And we are spanning 120 years of engineering, starting, as you said, with the Franklin in 1905, I believe, and all the way through to virtually the present day. All tackling air-cooled.
It is
simple, but not quite so simple if you dig deep.
It's going to get ever more complex, and I can't wait to explore more of it with you. Thanks, Nick. I mentioned before that motorcycles are a very important part of this air-cooled story, and David DiMuzio, the executive director of the Audrain Automobile Museum, is a big fan of motorcycles, and also they are here in the story because it's not as simple as people think.
That's right, Donald. We all associate air-cooled motorcycles, at least until the mid-'80s. But then performance and really dictates the need to dissipate more heat. So what sneaks in? Mostly oil cooling. So you can argue it's still air-cooled because you got to use air to cool the oil, but it's not a pure air-cooled engine anymore. So that's an underlying theme we'll talk about.
It is, as you and I have discussed before, a through story throughout the exhibition.
Yeah.
What exactly is the role of various components design in cooling? Engines create heat. Heat has to be dissipated. You can dissipate the heat in various ways. So what do you call it? It's sort of like Western art. Is Western art painted in the West, art painted on a Western subject, or art painted by someone who was born in the West? So yes, these are air-cooled.
So we have 3 or 4 things in the show that will instigate a heated conversation with some people, but that's intentional because we want people to understand it's not, even though the title is Keep It Simple, yes, it starts that way, but as it evolves, it's not so simple anymore.
You see, that's our David who always wants to put the cat among the pigeons, and you know, we'd love those comments that you have, so they'll really come for this one. Now, the other thing, of course, David, is, again, range. It's one of the things that you and your team really specialize in, putting together an exhibition that really shows a great range of objects. And so we've got these motorcycles, we've got a 1905 Franklin, we've got a Kramer K8 Porsche race car, which is really going to start the conversation. Yes. And of course, you could not have an air-cooled exhibition without a Tatra. So we've got it all.
We've got it all, and lots of those 500, 600cc Italian jobs too.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a really exciting exhibition. I can't wait to work with you and the other members of the team to dive deeper into this incredible story, or rather, these incredible stories.
I think it's a great show. Everyone's going to enjoy it.
Fantastic. I hope you'd enjoyed this very brief overview of this exhibition, Air-Cooled, Keep It Simple. As you will see, and as you've seen already, this is a complex and fascinating story. Now, of course, any story about air-cooled cars has to include the iconic Porsche 911, especially one like the one behind me, a 1967 911S, probably the ultimate version of the early 911. But the story is so much more complex, especially when it comes to Porsches, as you will see. So we look forward to welcoming you here in the gallery on Bellevue Avenue from March 22nd to July 13th here on the Audrain Museum Network or on the Bloomberg Connects website. Thanks for joining us.